Hello everybody and welcome to the show. Bass and Bonsai, we are out of the house and back on the water, and we're putting together, let's just call it a bougie chatterbait video. We're gonna put this big blade. I've been hearing some buzz about the big blade, right? Brian Thrift, I've heard that, like, he's on every other YouTube commercial pushing this bait, and I've had a couple of you guys subscribers tell me that they've caught, you know, several big fish. So I got the bluegill color to go against our other bougie combos with bluegill color. So we've got, the contenders are what you just saw, the Super Destroyer with the big blade, bluegill color. And then we've got the small side, the Mini Max. Charles is still catching them on top water, by the way. And that's on our new X-Pride 6'10" medium. Of course, they're all Steez Limiteds, right? And then our Poison Adrenaline, my still favorite combo going right at this moment. You can tell these are my favorite reels. Charles, we're trying to put together a chatterbait video. Show them your fish. So the bite is on with this one bait Charles has, Whopper Plopper, in the perch color. But are you gonna show them your fish, Charles? Charles, we're over here.
Oh, where are we at? Oh, we're right there.
So yeah, the bite's on. We are at Paradise. We've returned to Paradise, and I'm trying to put together chatterbait videos. Charles has torn me up. I already put together Whopper Plopper versus swim baits. That didn't go good for me. I've caught a few fish, but once I switched to Whopper Plopper. But anyway, back to the chatterbait video. Buckle up and hang on. I'm gonna start throwing these. It's gonna get shallow up here and grassy, so top water is gonna work. Charles will probably be putting that. You'll be able to tell the difference between chatterbait and top water, size of fish, that kind of stuff. But we're gonna see if the original or elite, or if the Mini Max, or if the big blade, kind of today is gonna see how many bites, what kind of class fish, that kind of stuff. So buckle up and hang on. Let's do this, Charles, bougie style, with your Cast King reel. Charles.
Hey, I got a casting rod.
Casting rod. Yeah, that makes it. Does that make it okay? I don't know if that makes it okay, Charles. I mean, I got Daiwa reels on Shimano rods, so. But is that bougie? Maybe not. Let's start out with I'm starting out with the big blade.
I mean, I'm bougie because everything matches.
To ever throw this.
See how it all matches.
Yeah, see, Charles, let's look at that combo bougie. Is Cast King cashing with the Daiwa? He's wearing a Daiwa shirt that he just got, Charles.
That even matches.
Yeah, that matches the colors. So he's full on bougie girl edition in the back of the boat with a Whopper Plopper that I still say is good or better. It's original than the Chapo, but I may put together that video. So first cast is we're working up, and now this is steeper banks, but if the top water bite's hitting, so should wow, that blade feels weird. Throw the first cast right in the tree. Look at that rod tip. I got a fish. I had a fish. First cast, Charles. We're also going to try to find out if this rod is good for at least the Mini Max or, you know, the smaller chatterbaits, hookups and all that kind of stuff. I know it'll throw it, no problem. So way different, like the whole world of difference in the, I threw that too far away from the bank, but it still may get to it. So way more subtle.
Yeah, I think he just totally trashed my leader.
Yeah, look at all that dead, like, there's almost no grass up and along those edges, so that's my excuse why I haven't gotten the chatterbait hit yet. We'll have a good idea also when I'm done. I may switch the baits around and try to tell, for those of you guys curious, like, you know, is the price-wise, when you go up in price, is sensitivity 100% increase or what? Because we have basically the same line, same reels, everything, just the rods are all this different, and baits at the moment. But if I switch baits around, so we're going back with the big dude. Oh no, wait, I grabbed the wrong one. Charles, I need the big one. That Poison Adrenaline just always calls my name.
Oh,
Charles,
man, we gotta go to that.
We can't, break it off. That bait sucks. Break it off, Charles. Oh, that spooked one. Yeah, I tried to go fast. So one thing I can kind of tell you about the big blade, right off the bat, the 1/2 ounce big blade is kind of like those one baits. You can go slower and stay higher in that column just because of the resistance it gives you. So that definitely could be a plus for the bait. you know, some might think, oh, I'll get the Mini Max and it'll ride, which they make it in like a quarter and it should ride a little, kind of go with the weight compared, you know, weight to blade size ratio is what will let them ride up to where you can go slower. Charles,
Well, look out!
Charles! He screamed like I was going to get shot.
You were about to get shot with a whopper plopper.
I don't know how much, if it even came close to me or not, but Charles about had me jump out of the boat because I thought something was happening.
It went right past you.
Did it? I didn't even see it or hear it.
See, it's right there.
Charles, I'm in the middle of a whopper. You got a whopper plopper, and I'm in the middle of a chatterbait video. See what I have to deal with? But look, hopefully you can make out this. It's like crazy shallow, and it cuts off that way. So I guess while we're here, let me make one more cast this way. I would think that big blade. I got a fish. I had a little dink, and that big blade just kept spinning. Like I was like, wait, what? So, big blade definitely works. Hey, dude, I'm trying to put together. Hey, don't you talk to me like that. Did you hear what that bass just told me? Listen, dude, I don't care if you're in the middle of trying to spawn and I disrupted you. I'm trying to do a video. Thank you. Kiss the first one on this bait. First big blade bass is not real impressive, but he's a beautiful little creature that we're going to see if we got a jumper, Charles. I've already got, did you have a hit?
Yeah.
First true jumper of the season, kind of came and went. Oh, that dude shook out of my hand, Charles. It's been one of those mornings. My thumb is sore and I've not even caught that many fish. That fish shook so hard. All right. Stop bragging, Charles. Charles flat tore him up with that whopper plopper this morning. I got it. I'm definitely going to buy one. After today, I'm probably going to buy that color whopper plopper and all the size whopper ploppers, and then I'm going to get one Chapo, probably just one, the biggest Chapo size, and then do a video there. But I think they're about the same. So far, just the first initial impressions that I can tell you 100% for sure about this bait that I kind of like. I don't know if I like how flashy that is. Like, honestly, I just want to use it in other water also. For this water we're in today, I would probably want to tear off almost all those orange ones and maybe leave a couple orange just on the just a few, and maybe a couple of these chartreuse. I think it's a little too bright. Don't you, Charles, like for how clear this water is? I think that's a little too much. So it may struggle a little there, but because you can kind of tweak on them. And but yeah, the big blade, it works. I think just if you're wanting to, you know, bigger presentation, it should, in my mind anyway, the darker, the dirtier the water, it should be better. But then like today, this is just theory, this little Mini Max should be the better of the bunch because it's just a little smaller. Let's go back to the Mini Max now. And it hasn't caught a fish yet, but being smaller, and I've gone on good little tears with it, and this blade thumping a little more subtle, but honestly the orange would probably be better to go on how clear this water is. Chesty, and then Charles, it's a chatterbait video. Cast King, whopper plopper, cashing in a Daiwa shirt. He's probably got an Abu Garcia hat on.
No, I got a Under Armour hat on.
Under Armour hat. Oh boy, that's
a nice fish.
Good chunk.
Oh, that's smaller.
It looks good. It's a nice chunk. It's still nice. That's a nice little bass. So yeah, we're doing chatterbait video, Charles. Charles has caught like 20 fish?
Probably 20.
On that whopper plopper this morning. I've caught like 2 or 3 on the basically the same color, the fatter whopper plopper version of it. And then I decided to do all these other swim bait, chatterbait videos, and I've caught a few fish here and there, but nothing like that. Charles is definitely going, unless I get on a tear with chatterbaits like I've been known to do, Charles is going to have this day for sure already with that bait. no matter what else he switches to. So yeah, I'm gonna finish the chatterbait video now, Charles. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right, let's go. What's going on the chesty, and we're gonna see some action. I gotta find a bait for my little bitty mini mac. Z-Man original. Well, original elite. I want to say this bait is roughly the same price as the Mini Max. There's the fish. Yeah, the old original. I didn't really get the proper hook set probably. And I don't want to talk about it too much, but so far the hits we have gotten, once they take it, we're managing to get them in on all the rods. So that's what, 2 for the original, 1 for the big blade, none for the mini. Let's switch. I'll throw one just for a while, and if it catches a fish, I'll switch. If it doesn't, I'll give it, I don't know, I'm kind of giving them 3 to 5 casts and then just switching to a different one, that kind of deal. We stopped off with the big blade. It did catch a fish. You guys, that footage, it's like right when I set the hook, the GoPro went dead. And the sun's starting to pop out. It may actually kick in a chatterbait bite. So the bait that I thought would dominate has not dominated.
It's hard. I feel them just bam, bam.
Yeah. The big blade and the original elite have caught 2 each. And this little dude has caught nothing. So since I'm on a, and it could be the fact this is a 3/8 ounce with that smaller blade, and I'm just having to work it too fast to keep it out of the gunk. So it could be as simple as a speed thing. If I could go a little slower.
That was kind of my thought with the swim bait.
Right.
Keep it out of the gunk.
Because when I try to go slower, that happens. And I feel I'm going as slow. Like the slowest one's clearly that I have to go slow to even keep that big blade in the water. So definitely if you got places where have real shallow areas, that big blade would probably be the way to go over these.
So the big blade makes it rise.
Well, there's a fish. Oh boy, hang on, about fell down, Charles. Well, here's the thing. That's a nice chunk though. When it does strike, it strikes good. Oh, you look at that. What do you think that is? A little over a pound. Boat flipping with the medium, but awesome for chatterbaits. So let's talk real quick about what I think, as we're going to see if this one will jump. Actually, I'm going to get a pick and I'll be back. There we go. Do we have a jumper? Mini Max finally jumps on the board, and I'm going to talk to you guys about what I think's going on with our size and blade size and what works best where. Now it's just using bro science, Charles. So if you're wanting to throw 1/2 ounce baits, but you're wanting to ride up high, then yeah, the big blade would probably be the choice. But you could also, this Mini Max comes in 3 sizes. Now I have the mid-range at 3/8, but they make it in like a 1/4. So if you're wanting to run a Mini Max, but up higher, you'd want to run the 1/4. Then they make this in a 1/2 ounce too. If you're even wanting to run roughly the same speed, but go deeper, then you'd go the 1/2. So it's kind of like the, and I'll show you with this one and grab the other one, but you're comparing the blade size to the weight of the head on to where roughly what height they run going the same speed. So that's a 3/8 with a very little blade. This is a 1/2 ounce with bigger material, which also creates drag and can, means lift, and that huge blade. So this bait is just kind of, and I'll try to show you if you guys can see, but so it doesn't take much of a reel turn to have that bait just staying up higher. Plus that's an 8-5-1, so the cranks look different. And one thing that this reel is that I almost forgot about, it's 7-1, so it does need a faster retrieve to even go the same speed. But the fact that blade, so basically the way I'm set up is almost kind of perfect if you're not sure when you're first starting. Have your slower reel with your bait that's going to be riding lower, you know, to see if they're out. Oh, that was a little backlash in there. So if they're, you know, down a little deeper, wanting the bait a little slower, or up or whatever. But overall, I can't really call these baits as being one better over the other. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch baits around just to check sensitivity. It's kind of the opposite of how I would want to be out fishing them. But we're going to put the big blade on this bait, or on this rod, and then we'll put the little dude on this guy. And then one or the other, maybe we'll do the poison adrena too, just to get an idea. I got a crazy backlash. Oh, Charles got one. Now what you got? Still the swim bait? No, back to
Went back to the water.
back to top water.
Went back to what was working.
So I'm gonna give this just a couple more casts.
Feed them what they want.
Right. Charles, I'm force feeding them chatterbaits to make a chatterbait video. Oh, that was a definite thunk. This is, without a doubt, in my opinion, the most sensitive rod I've ever used, even over the older NRX. I don't know about the new Plus, but this P5 is crazy. It's like the lightest, yet having the most power of a rod that I've ever felt too. All right, I'm switching them back, but I pretty much saw what I wanted to see as far as sensitivity of the rods. I just like the way the more I fish this, Charles, I dog this Super Destroyer, but the more I fish it, the more I'm just loving this rod.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I don't know if Charles ever felt this rod. Feel how light that rod is. Just grab it like you were gonna like.
Oh yeah.
That is a heavy action rod. That rod is like capable of setting big, like the jig and all, like, and it's like, it feels as light as a BFS setup. So that's where you get your, why they charge that much money and all that material kind of stuff. All right, we're about ready to wrap up this video, but I can definitely tell you that I don't like that, even though it's a ½ ounce on the 610 medium. It's more than a ½ ounce with that, just overall, once you get the trailer and everything on it. That Mini Max feels awesome on that 610 medium, and the Mini Max feels a little too small in 3/8 ounce.
That work good for trout.
Yeah. I can just creep that handle around. Well, so far the negatives I thought I'd have about this big blade, I don't really feel. So it may be honestly a choice to, since it's not, I mean, it is, what are they, 10 bucks? But it's still cheaper than a Jackhammer. So I feel like before I'd buy a Jackhammer again kind of thing, I'd recommend you could get a Z-Man original. You could get this bait here for about the price of one Jackhammer, and you'd be better. Yeah.
Glows in the dark.
Little egg shaped looking. Looks like a little bird egg.
It glows in the dark. So I thought maybe if we tighten
sun came out and killed our bite. I'm gonna have to put a wraps on this chatterbait video. We only caught what, like 2 each with the big blade and a regular one, and then 1 with the mini. Oh, there was it. I had him. One thing I can tell you right now, I've done it twice now. I caught one and missed one. If you feel a bite on the big blade and set the hook and you still feel the blade spinning, keep reeling, because that blade is so big. And if it's outside their mouth, it'll still be giving off a sense of like the blade and that fish could be swimming at you. And you can miss the fish by thinking you don't have it. So it's happened twice now. I was like, oh, missed him, but I actually still felt the weight once I slowed down and let him catch. Like, then he started pulling. Let's put a wraps on this, and I'm going to switch to something else. All right, guys, I'm going to put a wraps to this video, but I wanted to talk about a few things real quick. So here's what we had in the sun. Hopefully, oh, there comes the sun again. I was trying to get us turned to where the sun wouldn't be in your guys' eyes. So I don't feel this color is really the color of choice, or the chatterbait bite is truly on right at the moment, but we got enough to just give me the general thing. And this will be a continued on when we go to other places, especially some of those grass pit type places. And that sun is going to kill us, Charles. Let me turn this boat around. You'll have to fish behind the boat. Charles is still fishing. I'm trying to give you guys my initial thoughts so far on the first. You got a fish? Charles is tearing me up on fishing wise anyway, because I'm trying to put together different videos. Look at this swim bait. So I'm switching to that. Dude, that's a crappie jig. It's a crappie jig. Purple. Little dink. All right, leave me alone, Charles. I'm in the middle of something. So we got our little Bluegill Chatterbait first battle, I guess, right? You have battles and then see who wins the war kind of deal. So I am actually impressed with this bait. I didn't think I would like it as much as I do. I figured it'd have too much pull. I just would be like, I don't know about that, you know, the big blade. So you got the Mini Max and the big blade. They came out last year, I believe. We got the Mini Max sort of right off the bat and kind of have fished it. But then I also picked up, these three are kind of new for this season for me, because you guys know me, I've either had the Z-Man Original, we bought some Jackhammers to try out, and the AliExpress Jackhammer, right? So if you're wanting strictly on a budget, you cannot knock the AliExpress knockoffs. You can't do it. But for this thing, size-wise, in today's battle, I would say that it's hard to knock the original over either of these two. This one I thought would do the best, actually didn't. So I wanted to talk about that real quick in case I edit the footage out when I talked about it. In my opinion, all these are going to be, they're so close. They're a chatterbait, whether it be a Jackhammer knockoff, the Z-Man Original, there's Z-Man chatterbait on top of that, who still makes the best chatterbaits. There's nobody can knock that Z-Man doesn't make the best chatterbaits out there, whether it be the Jackhammer or the others. But the overall size, I don't think even matters. More important, the blade size doesn't matter. In my opinion, in fishing chatterbaits, I think color is the biggest factor in a chatterbait. I think if you have fish that are willing to hit a chatterbait, I'll try to hold you guys in the shade a minute here. Almost any weight, size, color, all that may not make a difference. But when they start getting finicky, I think a lot of times the color may be a deciding factor over whether the size or whatever. But the difference between the blades and the weight is the determining factor on the speed you can run a certain chatterbait at. And that's where I'm going to try to utilize the Mini Max, the big blade and all that, as you'll probably see on the next few videos I start putting together with these. So you can't knock. If you just had to go buy one, it would still be a Z-Man Original, which is only like $5, or the Elite, which comes with the skirt tied on, but you're kind of limited. You'd have to literally cut that off to change skirt color. The Z-Man Original, you can flop out colors. But as of right now, that would still be the one that I would recommend, still kind of just for the fact you can get them cheaper by a few dollars. You can't really beat the old Z-Man original, or even the Elite is about the same price as these other baits. They're close, like $7.99. I think these are about the same price, and then like $10.99 or $9.99. But if you're wanting, so let's say if you're a guy that you already have a good rod and reel combo, you only have a few, where you would want to throw these, no matter the weight, in my opinion, since the blade, or not the blade and the hook is a smaller one, a smaller gear. If you're wanting to catch the biggest fish possible on the smallest combo, it's a no-brainer. You'd want to just fish mini max. If you're looking for big fish, big bites, you would probably want to go here. You've already got a, say, a stout medium heavy, or a heavy rod, or one of those, you know, heavy fiberglass deals for throwing jackhammers. Then this would probably be your one of choice. And then you could mess around with this is just a 1/2 ounce. They make actually heavier ones than the 1/2. You can kind of do the same thing though. If you get the mini max in a 1/4, it'll ride a little higher at the same speed. You get it in this 3/8, which I have, which is the middle. You kind of got to go a little faster to keep it up a little bit. And then if they make it in 1/2 ounce, then you'd have to even go a little faster without it getting down too low. And you can do the same thing with the originals on the blades. So in my opinion, the blades, I don't know if you can really say that one blade size is going to get you more bites than the other, because this is definitely a hard thumper. But in order to get them to jump around, you go with the lightest weight head you can get to the biggest blade. Would let it, in theory, you know, and then keep the skirting slimlined. But you can kind of do that in all these ranges. So what you're limited to is really just like what I would do. Before I would do like what I'm doing here, you know, I'm going to get one of each size and different brands in the same color. That's the way to catch them, because I feel this bite, this color is off a little bit today. I'd have been better off to have one in a, say, black and blue, one in a white or crappie type version, you know, kind of more of a bait fish, one in a more of a craw pattern, maybe a brown, or one of those, you know, lime green and green pumpkin ones. So color, in my opinion, over all of the other weight and blade sizes is, I think, a better option. So if you're unsure of what chatterbait to start with either the Z-Man original or the Elites, are just a touch better and a few dollars more. It's like a Clint Eastwood movie for a few dollars more. Or you could go, if you're bougie, if you're flat out bougie, which I should be since I've got them all on Steve's Limiteds and higher end reels and rods, I should be fishing jackhammers and not even messing with these cheap junk, Charles. No, but seriously, after today, I was surprised. I thought this littler one, since the water is clear, we've got good water clarity, would be the bait that would stand out. But so far, today we caught 2 on this guy, 2 on this guy, missed another one on this guy, and then we only managed the one, and then missed one other little hit on this guy. So I can't really call a clear winner other than this guy, just for the fact it's catching the same amount, and it's in the original version is the cheapest option of the bunch. So anyway, let's put a wrap on this video, Charles. We got fish to catch. It's only 9:30 a.m. so we need to go. So as I'm still sitting down, Charles is still tearing me up. I probably can't catch him today. I'm putting a complete end to this Chatterbait Bougie Edition, and by showing you the just rod and reel combos and my overall thoughts on those, in case you're wondering. So we already know we're still up in the air on the chatterbaits. Necessarily spending the more money for the jackhammer isn't going to catch you more fish. The biggest one so far isn't going to catch you a bigger fish, and the littler ones aren't necessarily going to catch you more fish. A chatterbait, in my opinion, whether it be a Z-Man or the knockoffs that are made to copy exactly a Z-Man bait, those are your best options. You just pick your poison there. But speaking of poison, let's talk about the Poison Adrenaline. It's right in the middle, and it is actually the middle of the road. It's kind of high end, but I don't think it's as sensitive as the Super Destroyer or probably the NRX Plus. I feel the Super Destroyer is more sensitive than my old NRXs I had. Maybe not the Plus. I have not actually fished those, so I can't tell you for sure. But the Poison Adrenaline is like right there close, and I think I can't tell the difference yet. With first day of fishing the X Pride, I can't tell the difference between the Poison Adrenaline and the X Pride on sensitivity. The Poison Adrenaline has a slight more of a coating material. They both have the monocoque and the same reel seat feel and all that, so they feel like almost the same basic reel. Like, I think, in my opinion, they have not changed anything. I think the Poison Adrena blank, it's just changed slightly as far as cosmetics. I feel that's the only difference. Maybe they do use something different, I don't know. And then this X Pride, I think, is the same quality, and it's about $100 cheaper. So it's hard for me to argue that I should ever buy any more Adrenas other than the medium plus. That's the only way you can get it, is in the Adrena. You can't get that 6'11" medium plus in the X Pride. So probably should just stick with this and then buy X Prides if I want that same kind of feel. But I may go full bougie and get Super Destroyers. For those of you guys who are just curious on my take so far, you're not, you know, you're like, yeah, Charlie, I already know what chatterbaits I throw, regardless what they are, but you want my take on my what rods I recommend on the higher end ones. It's hard to knock that Super Destroyer, and for the money, the Poison Adrena, it's hard to knock it. But for a step down that I honestly feel you're not going to lose the feel of any bites, it's hard to knock that X Pride. I definitely think it's a step up over the Wizard, which is hard to knock the Wizard sitting back in the back. That's only $100 rod off AliExpress, but you can't get it one piece. And there is a slight touch. They've come a long way with one-piece rod, or you know, two-piece versus one-piece rod designs. They've come a long way in how they put them together, because they do put them together to where they basically add a ferrule part inside that's made out of the same kind of material. It's a little stouter or solid, basically, to make it stouter there. But it's hard to get one that has that full, it's basically like my knuckle here. It's got a little twinge in it compared to a one-piece rod. That's the only thing I could knock about a two-piece versus a one. I feel they're pretty much just as sensitive. And if you look at how these rods are made, those Wizards coming from AliExpress, and the Wizards are more like the X Pride than the contest rods, if you guys remember those. I actually don't even have a contest rod with me today, Charles. I just noticed that. So anyway, what will you see from me in the future? If I go swim bait, it's a possibility you'll see a Tequila Baccarat from the Mega Bass Destroyer lineup, the P5. I keep hearing good things about that. It's like an all-around heavier bait. It's what it was made for, Tequila Baccarat. Take the Baccarat, Mexico, and only have a few rod and reel combos, throw a bunch of different stuff. But anyway, that's a whole nother story, Charles. Thanks for watching, guys. Get out, go bass and bonsai. Be looking forward to the topwater video where Charles tore me up. That one's already in the books. I just got to edit the footage. But we're going down here, and I'm going to probably switch out to spinner baits and just other. Charles is having real good luck on a swim bait, or was, and see what else we can catch here today. Possibility afternoon we may hit a whole nother pit in Paradise. So anyway, guys, get out, go bass bonsai, but whatever you do, make sure you have fun doing it. Charles, you having fun?
Oh yeah.
Let's go.